Imagine being bought and sold, like livestock, and then rising to sit on a throne, ruling over millions. Sounds like the premise of a Hollywood drama, right? But no, this isn't fiction. This was real. This was Iltutmish.
Now, hold on before you scroll away thinking that name sounds like a sneeze. Let me assure you, the story of Iltutmish is not just a historical footnote. It's a powerful blueprint for rising from the ashes. And if you've ever felt underestimated, out of place, or like the odds are stacked against you, this story might just change the way you see your own potential.
Born in Central Asia, Iltutmish was not born a prince. In fact, he was sold into slavery as a child. Think about that. A kid, ripped from his family, labeled property, and passed from hand to hand. That kind of trauma either breaks you or makes you unstoppable.
But here's where the plot thickens.
He was bought by a nobleman serving under the powerful Sultan qutb-ud-din Aibak, ruler of the Delhi Sultanate in India. Now, most slaves were destined for servitude or worse, but Iltutmish? He stood out, not with brawn or brute force, but with intelligence, vision, an eerie calm.
He wasn't loud, he wasn't brash, but he was watching, learning, plotting.
By now, you're probably thinking, okay, cool story, but what's the catch?
The catch is power, and how you get it when you're not supposed to have it.
You see, in a world ruled by bloodlines and royal birth, Iltutmish was the ultimate outsider. Yet somehow he rose not just to prominence, but to the absolute top. How? Here's the twist. Qutb-ud-din Aibak, recognizing Iltutmish's potential, not only freed him, but gave him his daughter's hand in marriage. Pause and think about that for a moment. A former slave marrying into royalty. That's not just a promotion, that's a complete system override. But wait, this story isn't about fairy tale endings. When Aibak died unexpectedly, chaos erupted. The throne of Delhi was up for grabs and everyone wanted a piece. Iltutmish didn't just walk into power, he fought tooth and nail for it. His claim to the throne was met with resistance, rebellion, and betrayal.
And here's a question for you. How do you lead a nation that doesn't even believe you deserve to exist?
Fear becomes your advisor. Every ally could be an enemy, every smile a dagger. But somehow, Iltutmish survived and ruled for over 2 decades.
Under his rule, the Delhi Sultanate wasn't just stabilized, it thrived. Roads were built, laws were written, coinage was standardized. You know you're a real boss when you mint your own money, literally.
And he didn't just rule with iron fists. He used strategy, intelligence, diplomacy. He defended his kingdom from Mongol invasions, managed internal revolts, and outmaneuvered rivals who had royal lineage but lacked his street-forged resilience.
Here's where it gets even more unbelievable.
At a time when the world believed only men could lead, Iltutmish nominated his daughter Razia as his successor, another slap in the face of tradition. He knew leadership wasn't about gender or blood. It was about grit, about vision, and Razia had both.
Now pause. Let's ask something weird. What does Iltutmish have in common with a startup founder in Silicon Valley?
Everything.
He began with nothing but his mind and will. He played long games. He faced gatekeepers, crashed systems, and rewrote the rules. He didn't inherit success. He built it. And like every great entrepreneur, he took risks so big they bordered on madness. But not every story ends in fireworks. Despite his achievements, Iltutmish's name remains largely buried under the sands of time, overshadowed by later emperors, louder tyrants, and modern media. And that raises a haunting question. What if your greatest legacy is one no one remembers?
Would you still fight for it? Here's the uncomfortable truth. We live in an age of distraction where likes mean more than legacies. But Iltutmish's story reminds us, greatness doesn't come from applause. It comes from endurance. It comes from making choices no one understands, until history looks back and says they were right. So, what does this mean for you? Sitting there with your job stress, your side hustle, your quiet dreams no one seems to get?
It means your starting point doesn't define your finish line.
It means being underestimated is a gift, if you use it right.
And it means power isn't always inherited. Sometimes it's earned, painfully, defiantly, through sweat, blood, and sheer will.
Now, here's your cliffhanger, because you didn't think I'd let you go without one.
While Iltutmish was conquering empires and defying expectations, he also planted the seed of a dynasty that would dominate for generations.
But in his final years, as age and illness crept in, a chilling shadow loomed. He feared that everything he built could fall apart the moment he died. So he left behind more than just laws and palaces. He left a system, a structure designed to outlive him.
But did it work?
Did his legacy survive?
Did his daughter rule or fall to the wolves? That's a story for another time. But here's what Iltutmish would whisper if he could speak to you now. You are more than your circumstances, and sometimes the ones who start at the bottom are the ones who reshape the top.
So next time life backs you into a corner, remember, you're not trapped. You're just sharpening your edge. Be like Iltutmish, unexpected, unbreakable, unforgettable.